He thought he could disrespect me every day, but one quiet, smart move changed everything, and nothing would ever be the same.
Life was simple. A calm neighborhood. People knew each other by face, not by conflict. Every morning followed the same rhythm. Leaving for work, greeting neighbors, returning home, tired but peaceful. Nothing dramatic, nothing special. Until one small habit started changing everything. Sometimes, revenge stories don't begin with anger. They begin with patience.
One evening, I walked out and froze. A bike stood right in front of my car. No space to move, no warning, no note. At first, I laughed it off. Mistakes happen. I waited. 10 minutes passed, then 20. Finally, the owner showed up, smiling, careless, no apology, just confidence. That was the first sign, but I ignored it.
The second time, I spoke politely. No anger, no threat. Please don't park here. It blocks my car. He laughed. Not nervous laughter, arrogant laughter. From that day onward, it became routine. Blocking my car, wasting my time, testing my patience. Some people mistake silence for weakness. That's where they fail.
Day after day. Same bike. Same place. I adjusted my schedule. Left early, returned late. Still, there it was. Anger started knocking, but I didn't open the door. Because emotional revenge is loud and temporary. Smart revenge is silent and permanent.
One night, I stood near my car, staring at that bike. Hands shaking, not from fear, but restraint. I could have shouted. I could have damaged it. I could have called people. But then I realized something important. If I react emotionally, I lose control. If I stay calm, I control the story. That night, I planned nothing. I just waited. For days, I observed. Times, patterns, habits. Who passes by? Who notices? Who stays silent? Every revenge needs intelligence before action. He thought no one was watching. That was his biggest mistake.
That evening felt different. The society was active. People online, phones in hands. He parked again, confidently. No rush, no care. I didn't move the bike. I didn't argue. I took out my phone. One photo, perfect angle, clear evidence. Sometimes a single image speaks louder than arguments.
No long message, no accusations, just one photo, one sentence. Please park properly. Emergency access gets blocked. Posted in the society group. Then I went offline. True revenge doesn't wait for reactions. It lets consequences arrive on their own. Messages flooded the group. Questions, warnings, eyes opened. People who stayed silent before spoke now. Rules were remembered. Responsibility returned. All without my name mentioned. That's the beauty of smart revenge. You stay invisible.
Next morning, I walked out calmly. The space was empty. No bike. No blockage. Later that day, it appeared again. But this time, perfectly parked. No eye contact, no laughter. Lesson learned.
I didn't shout. I didn't insult. I didn't break anything. Yet the problem ended. Because real power doesn't make noise. It makes change. Sometimes revenge isn't about hurting someone. It's about teaching them without becoming them. Remember this. The loudest people lose control. The silent ones control the outcome.
For the first time after the post, he looked at me and then quickly looked away. No smile, no arrogance, no confidence, just silence. Sometimes Embarrassment is the strongest punishment.
People whispered in elevators. Conversations started in parking areas. Did you see that photo? What if an ambulance needed access? The same people who stayed quiet before were suddenly speaking up. And me? I stayed normal. The best revenge is when you don't look like the one taking revenge.
His confidence slowly faded. The careless attitude disappeared. When an entire system turns against you, you can't fight it alone. He started changing parking spots daily, carefully, quietly. But the lesson wasn't over yet.
One evening, he walked up to me smiling. "Bro, no problem between us, right?" His voice sounded friendly, but the fear underneath was obvious. I replied calmly, "Everything's fine." Sometimes, short answers deliver long lessons.
After that day, he changed completely. Not just around my car, but everywhere in the society. Following rules, parking inside lines, keeping quiet. One careless habit had cost him his image. One silent post had fixed everything. Some people said, "You should have taken it further." But smart revenge has one rule: stop when the lesson is learned. If I pushed more, I would become the villain. True control means knowing when enough is enough.
This story was never about parking. It was about respect. People break rules until someone shows them the consequences, calmly. And systems don't shout, they record.
If you're dealing with something similar, remember, anger makes you weak. Evidence makes you powerful. Don't react instantly. Observe patiently. And when you act, let the system speak for you. That parking spot still exists. The bike still comes, but never in front of my car again. No arguments, no enemies, no drama. Just a quiet boundary. That's a real win. Revenge doesn't always mean destruction. Sometimes it means correction. And the quietest people often control the loudest outcomes.
Weeks passed. The parking problem never returned. Something else changed too. The neighborhood felt quieter, more organized, more aware. One small action had created a ripple effect. People started correcting themselves before anyone else had to.
Just when things felt settled, another issue surfaced. A delivery van began stopping carelessly, blocking exits, ignoring signs. I watched silently. This time, I didn't feel angry. I felt prepared. Experience teaches faster than theory. Before I could act, someone else spoke up in the group. Then another. Then another. Photos were shared. Rules were quoted. I didn't post anything. That's when I realized the system was working without me. True influence isn't control, it's culture. When people start protecting order without being asked, you've already won. I wasn't enforcing rules anymore. The environment was. One night, the same neighbor approached me again. No fake smile this time. No nervous jokes. "I was wrong," he said. That day changed things for me. I nodded. No lectures, no reminders. Some apologies don't need responses. I stopped paying attention to parking spots, stopped watching people. Revenge had done its job. Now it was time to move on. Holding power too long turns you into what you opposed. Letting go is the final step of smart revenge.
Silence forces people to face themselves. No shouting to fight, no insults to deflect. Just consequences standing quietly in front of them. That's why silence works. It leaves no escape. This story isn't rare. Workplaces, families, online spaces. People test limits until someone responds the right way. Not louder, not harsher, smarter. If someone disrespects you, don't rush, don't react. Document, observe, choose the right moment. And when you act, make sure the result speaks, not you. Months passed. The bike never blocked my car again. No one crossed boundaries. not because they feared me, but because they respected the system. That's the difference between fear and order. I learned something important. Revenge isn't about winning a moment. It's about changing patterns, and patterns only change when intelligence replaces emotion. The loudest voices fade, the calm ones remain. If you ever feel powerless, remember this story. You don't need noise to create impact. You need timing. Stay calm. Stay smart. Let consequences do the talking. That's real power. One evening, I noticed something familiar. Not the same bike, not the same person, but the same attitude. A visitor parked carelessly, half blocking the lane, as if rules were optional. I felt no anger, only curiosity. Would the system hold without me? I stood at a distance, observed silently. This time, I didn't take photos, didn't post messages. I wanted to see if awareness had truly spread, or if it depended on one person. Real change survives when the creator steps back. A resident approached the visitor calmly. "Brother, please park properly. Emergency access matters here." No shouting, no insults, just confidence. The car moved. I smiled, not with pride, but with relief.
That's when it hit me. Leadership isn't about being visible. It's about creating behavior that continues without you. I never wanted power. I wanted peace. And peace was finally stable. Late that night, I sat alone, replaying everything. The anger I never released, the damage I never caused, the respect I quietly earned. Silence didn't just solve a problem, it protected my character. Loud revenge feels powerful, but only for a moment. It escalates. It creates enemies. It demands attention. Silent revenge ends things, cleanly, permanently, because it doesn't attack people, it exposes behavior. I ask myself one honest question. If this happened again, would I act the same way? The answer came easily. Yes, because calm thinking gave better results than emotional reactions ever did. That single decision, to stay quiet and smart, changed more than parking habits. It changed how people communicated, how rules were respected, how problems were handled. One moment of patience created long-term order. If you're watching this, understand something important. This isn't about getting back at someone. It's about protecting your space without losing yourself. You don't need to become aggressive to be respected. You need clarity. Peace is the final victory. Today, I walk to my car without thinking. No checking, no tension, just routine. That's the real reward. A problem so solved, it no longer occupies your mind. But every story needs one final truth, something that ties it all together, something worth remembering. Because silence isn't just a reaction, it's a strategy.
One afternoon, my phone rang. They thanked the residents for maintaining order. No names, no spotlight, and I preferred it that way. True influence doesn't need applause. It needs results. We're taught that power is loud, dramatic, forceful, but real power is subtle. It shapes behavior without confrontation. That's the power that lasts. I realized something surprising. I wasn't angry anymore. Not at him, not at anyone. The moment justice feels complete, anger has no place to stay. Silence had done its work. I blended back into the routine. Morning exits, evening returns. No one watched me. No one suspected me. And that was freedom. Weeks later, at a friend's apartment complex, I saw the same behavior. Blocked exits, ignored rules, people argued, shouted. Nothing changed. I didn't interfere. Some lessons must be learned, not taught. I learned that action without timing is just noise, and silence without intention is weakness. The balance between the two is strategy.
That balance changed everything. That single moment, choosing patience over reaction, kept echoing in how I handled conflict, in how I spoke less, in how I listened more. One decision reshaped my mindset. Every strong story needs a final realization, not dramatic, not explosive, but undeniable. I felt it approaching. An unknown number. I hesitated, then answered. "Hello?" A calm voice replied, "This is the Society Management." "Nothing serious," they said. "Just feedback." That moment made me realize quiet actions travel far.
If you're still here, this message is for you. You don't need revenge to reclaim respect. You need intelligence, patience, and timing. Revenge is optional. Self-control is not. This story isn't ending with conflict. It's ending with clarity. And clarity is more powerful than any argument. The final lesson is close.
One quiet evening, I stood near my car and looked around. Nothing was wrong. Nothing was blocked. Nothing demanded attention. That's when I knew the story was truly over. Not because the problem disappeared, but because it no longer controlled my thoughts. Winning feels loud. It needs witnesses. Peace feels silent. It needs nothing. I didn't win an argument. I gained calm, and calm is the rarest victory. Weeks later, I crossed paths with him again. No tension, no awkwardness, just a nod. Two people who understood that respect doesn't need words. The past stayed where it belonged. This story wasn't about a bike. It wasn't about parking. It was about choice. The choice to react or to respond. The choice to explode or to observe. That choice defines everything. I learned one rule I'll never forget. If you let emotions lead, you lose control. If you let intelligence lead, you gain freedom. That rule stayed with me far beyond this moment. If someone disrespects you, pause. If someone tests your patience, wait. You don't need to shout to be heard. You need clarity, evidence, and timing. Power doesn't announce itself. It doesn't threaten. It changes behavior and walks away. That's real strength. Today, life is normal again, and that's the best ending possible. No drama, no revenge scars, just order. Stay calm, stay smart. Let silence finish the fight before it even begins.